Alright guys, Captain Alex Mason, and I'm back for episode 5 of Call of Duty, a Halloween related topic, continuing up my 2-bit summary of the 5th Halloween movie. So basically where I left off was that Jamie gets that whole thing with the scary man chasing after her, like, foster sister's best friend apparently. So they go to the tower, find him. Tina, Samantha, and Spitz played a prank on the two idiotic officers who were told to go there because, you know, they heard about this person. And two females pretended to be assaulted by a knife-wielding masked Michael Myers guy, Spitz in the costume, in the farm's barn adjacent to the farmhouse. The trio ran after some kittens. When Tina returned to the house, Spitz and Samantha prepared to make love among some straw bales. Basically, they had sex in a barn. Yeah. Probably not the best place. But basically, Spitz was later impaled by a pitchfork, stabbed into the middle of his back, splattering blood onto Samantha's breasts underneath him. And then Samantha's body was sliced in a curved skith or something, spelled S-C-Y-T-H-E. Outside, the two deputies, Ross and Farah, innocently assuming that Spitz was still wearing the Michael Myers mask, were both stabbed multiple times with a pitchfork in their squad car. Again, kind of ironic. That's why I think the whole Michael Myers costume in Haddonfield, if they're so afraid of him, they should ban his costume and his mask, because A, teenagers are going to use that as a prank and probably end up getting killed, because in the 4th movie, they did that same thing that scared the crap out of Dr. Loomis, where he was about ready to pull out a gun and shoot the kids, but again, they're stupid, they're teenagers, what do you expect? Also, then he probably wouldn't go after the same old mask. Maybe he'd try and be original, but then again, that'd probably be a bad thing. Anyway, afterwards, Tina, who went looking for her missing friends in the barn, found their bloody bodies as they were rolled onto her. She fled screaming to the house. She saw the two dead patrol officers in their vehicle. Two children arrived at the farm. They and Tina were chased by Myers driving Mikey's stolen vehicle, and those two kids were, I believe, yeah, they were Billy, the pirate kid, and Jamie. But when they arrived at the farm, they were... No, wait, no, I read that. Through a crop of Christmas trees until he crashed the car into a tree and appeared dead. However, he was still alive because apparently you cannot kill this man. Before he could stab Jamie, Tina jumped in to save her, and Myers stabbed her in the chest as she told Jamie to run away, which I hated so much. I was like, okay, for starters, you know this guy can't die. You've, like, tried several times, or he's, like, taken 6 to, like, maybe, let's just say 50 gunshot wounds into the chest and face, and he will still not die. Why do you think a car crash will kill him? I hate to say it, but stupidity overruled reality, apparently. Because she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go over by my somewhat deceased uncle and just go over by him. He's like, murder boner, I must kill you. But then all of a sudden Tina's like, oh god, I should have just grabbed you, took you backwards. Instead, she like pushes her to the side because it was more dramatic. Gets stabbed in the chest. And it's like, come on. It's like, you don't die like that. I mean, I guess she became a martyr, but still, I wouldn't want to die like that. I'd at least try and put up more of a fight, or like try and get Jamie out of there. I wouldn't just like push her to the side and then get stabbed in the chest. Because again, more collateral damage, eh? Except I think this time he was actually doing killing all the people at the farmer place just to attract her, because she knew how she had an emotional tie-in with Tina now that her foster sister was dead. So Sheriff Meeker and the other police cars arrived to the scene, and Dr. Loomis showed up, aided the two kids, and asked him in the ambulance, "Now are you willing to help me?" And she agreed to do so in his quest to kill the evil Myers. But Loomis spoke facing into the woods that surrounded the whole incident, luring Michael back to his old house in town with Jamie as bait. And he's like, Michael, it will destroy you too. One day, Michael. This rage which drives you, you think if you kill them all, it will go away? It won't. You have to fight it in the place where it's strongest, where it all began. If you want to get rid of this rage, Michael, go home. Go home! Go to your house. I shall be there waiting for you. You will find her waiting for you. And it's like, dude, come on. So they go to the house, which is kind of dumb. At least that's what I think. And they basically have all these deputy people showing up. And the officer is like telling her, hey, here, take my walkie-talkie and we're going to go over some like basic drills just in case he does show up. Which, of course, he'll show up anyway. I mean, it is Michael Myers and this is his house. But he's like, tell you what, you press this little button here to let me know that you're in danger and I'll come in and shoot the son of a bitch with my gun. He's like, okay. So she's like, beep boop, beep boop, up. Or basically, it's just one button, honestly, but I just like doing the beep boop noises that like tell him all of a sudden it does happen. However, like, we go to that and Loomis predicted, now you'll come, won't you, Michael? And outside the house, Deputy Eddie Gray's parked police car was rammed from behind and his face was repeatedly smashed against the steering wheel, like this. His death cries were heard on Deputy Block's walkie-talkie, who was the guy telling her, here, let's try and see if we can work this thing out. And attempted to escape with a rope ladder extended from the second floor window. As Michael burst through the door, he emptied his gun into Myers with 10 shots and no effect whatsoever. Of course, goddamn hacks. He's got God mode. That's what he's got. Just like World at War. And Baba was hanged in one of the rope ladder nooses outside of the window. So he basically killed himself in a way, except Michael helped. And Jamie fled into another room, and Sheriff Meeker supervised as the body of two victims of Myers as they were taken out on stretchers at the children's clinic. What? Okay, I forgot this happened. He killed some people at apparently. Jamie's screams echoed in the laundry chute as she dropped to the basement and then valiantly struggled to climb away from Myers' frenzied stabbing knife through the metal. She managed to emerge from the chute on the next floor up and then found herself in a candlelit attic of the Myers house, littered with displayed bodies of victims, including her dog Max, and she cried Mikey, and then she cried more when she saw Rachel, and the killer approached. She hid in the coffin, which I thought was stupid because I was like, okay, now you're just helping the poor bastard to kill you. But again, it's a movie. What do you expect? And basically ready to accept death, and as he raised his like big ass knife, she stops and says, "Uncle?" And he like froze, like became petrified by this. She's like, You know me as your uncle?" Which he knew was that he was her uncle. But and she's like asking her, she pointed at her eye, like asking him to remove his mask so she could see what he looked like before he died. She's like, "Let me see," and Michael paused, then removed the mask. She responded because she looked at him and she's like, "You look just like me." But she said, "You're just like me." And she watched as he actually, like, literally cried, like, saying, "I don't," like, he actually cared for her for a moment. He's like, "Why do I need to kill this little girl? She's only 9 years old, for Christ's sake." And then And then, of course, the godly powers of the cult says, no, you must resist. You must kill this woman. Remember, she is part of your family, which you want to kill so desperately. So, I guess what I call his murder boners came back. He's like, must kill family. She ran down the stairs. Well, actually, when she reacted to wipe it away, she wanted to like wipe the. She's like, let me, and then he's like, and continued to do what he was doing. So she goes downstairs. Dr. Loomis had her, and then said, "You want her? Here she is, a little girl. Come and get her." So basically, leading him into a trap, which was located in the middle room of or living room, I should say, in the middle of the house, using Jamie as like the prize thing that he wants, and then a heavy metal chain that was dropped from the ceiling on Myers. Dr. Loomis fired 4 tranquilizer darts, which, to be honest, is even way too dangerous for like some standard animal. Like one or two is like good enough. 4 though is like really dangerous. You could like pretty much be putting the poor thing to sleep where it'll never wake up again. So, and then then he basically beat the crap out of Myers with a wooden plank, only for him to, like, you know, become unconscious and sleep. So this was fun. This is kind of interesting. He was taken into police custody. Like, he actually got caught by the police, and they put him in a jail cell. What's so bad about this is that, and then they placed him in a temporarily Haddonfield Police Department jail for future transport to a maximum security facility by the U.S. National Guard. See, now he's like reached military levels where he's like a threat to national security. This is where it's interesting. He'll stay until they're basically saying, the sheriff said he'll stay until the day he dies, and Jamie said he'll never die. In a patrol car outside, as Jamie awaited transportation back to the clinic, an explosion rocked the trail, because apparently that black-garbed stranger with the silver steel-tipped boots entered the police department and murdered numerous police officers with a machine gun, no doubt. And I believe it was an MP5 or an MP5K. I don't remember. It's one of the two, or maybe it's neither. And apparently he even murdered Sheriff Meeker and the 7 other officers. And in the aftermath, Jamie walked through the camp, like carnage all around. Like basically, she's like seeing what war could have looked like, only a lot less severe, because, you know, war is a lot more dangerous than, in my opinion, than cops and gangster shootouts. And finds the cell empty, and she sobs and screams, "No! No!" And it basically ends there. And I think, yeah, this was like the last ever movie that Donald Pleasance, aka Dr. Loomis, was ever in, because later that year, like, I believe when they did the next movie, the 6th movie, he died. And Donald Pleasance, if you didn't know, he did a lot of things from like the Twilight Zone. That's all I know from him. I've never really watched the Twilight Zone, because I thought, it's on late on this rerun channel that we have, and it's on really late, so I don't necessarily catch it. Plus, I can watch like some black and white movies, but when the whole show itself, not the new Twilight Zone, I'm talking about the real one, it's all in black and white, and I was like, no, I just can't watch that show. And it's like, so yeah, so that's what happened. It was an okay movie, I guess, but what I'd like to know is why carry all the victims that he killed previously before the whole thing at the farm, like, and then put him up in his the attic of his old house. I mean, what significance was that to do? What, only to like scare the crap out of the girl when she went to her house? You know, all that props and stuff, just so climactic, or whatever word you want to use for it. I just thought it was dumb, or like somewhat stupid, because in some of the previous Myers movies, he was like oh, I gotta hide them in some neat yet creepy way. But in this, he's just like, oh, let's put all the bodies in one area. So yeah, this is part 2 and the final part for this episode. I'm Captain Alex Mason. I'll see you guys tomorrow with yeah, the next movie related thing, whether it be Predator or Halloween. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.